to adjust my mic volume so you can hear it.
And you're loud, Mike.
All right. I'll clarify the topic. Accessibility should continue. The claim specifically would be the thing that like we ended the last convo with. It was just me saying that like logical modality normally, I take it that it bakes this epistemic consideration in, and then Rizzhan having some kind of problem.
I need to get a better understanding of what you're saying. So, are you saying that logical modality is a type of epistemic modality? Or are you saying that logical modality is epistemic modality?
I think what Sir is probably saying that it's a type.
And just for more clarification, what do you take epistemic modality to be? Like, if somebody to say X is epistemically
broadly, okay, given the semantic gave earlier, broadly just anything that makes the claim or limits the claim to the whatever, right? So I guess like an epistemic version of metaphysical modality. Okay, given my like for all I know, thing is consistent with whatever metaphysical axioms or whatever metaphysical theory I hold to.
No, I'm talking about epistemic modality considered in of itself.
Say that again?
Like obviously, like you can talk about epistemic claims in context to different modalities, but that's not the same thing as actually making a claim about epistemic modality.
Okay, so to be clear, when I say if you categorize like the metaphysical example as an epistemic claim made about a certain modality or whatever, that is what I'm saying is the case with the logical modality. So if you distinguish that from like literal epistemic modality, then I wouldn't say it's epistemic modality. The only reason I said it's a type of epistemic modality was because what we decided on in the last debate was that any claim that or any modal claim that limits the structure to, for all I know, would be like some claim under epistemic modality.
But that's not what I concluded. That's not what I said. I said that you can have modality. I said that you can have modality. Wait 1 sec. I said that you can have modality claims indexed or restricted to a specific scope of knowledge, but that wouldn't be the same. That wouldn't be the same thing as making a claim about epistemic modality intrinsically.
Okay. So when I say for logical modality, it is a claim indexed to, or the relations that it claims about are indexed to one's knowledge. That's all I'm saying. So if I still
disagree with that statement, so we can go over that statement.
Okay, sure. So like that is the claim I'm making, to be clear, and that is like the claim you have some problem with. You can go ahead. Hello?
Yo. Wait, hello? Wait, was my push to talk on? My push to talk wasn't working. So, to clarify, the claim is just that when we're making claims about logical modality, it's necessarily the case that we're always talking about indexed or knowledge.
I don't. Well, I mean, I would say that.
I'm just asking you, like, do you think it's impossible for us to coherently talk about logical modality or make a logical modality claim without talking about knowledge?
Well, I mean, I would say that like if it's possible for us to make a claim like that, and that claim ending up true or whatever, independent of our knowledge. It's just that I think that whenever we make a claim like that, we wouldn't know about its actual truth value, because again, it's just making claims about relations independent of our knowledge or whatever, right? So whether they are true or not, we don't really have any actual good credence for. So I would just say that like if a claim like that is made, we wouldn't know if it's true, or we wouldn't have good reason to say it's true. I wouldn't make any like kind of impossibility claim regarding it.
Okay, so you don't think it's impossible for us to talk about logical modality? That's not the quick way. In fact, that wasn't even the question I asked you, right? Like obviously, the person who thinks they're making an absolute like logical modality claim obviously thinks that every possible like situation or every possible relation they're talking to like is something that is even if it's not accessible to them, it's still like a true fact about the world or true fact about reality, since they'd make a claim that logical modality is world tracking and like epistemic modality is mind tracking.
Okay, so hold on. Just to be clear, I don't know why the person that makes the claim holding that belief would matter, because I would just say that like in that case they just have bad epistemology, because that would bake in the claim that they would have good credence to make a claim about possible states of affairs that they don't have knowledge of, right? So, like, given that is true, like, I would just say that the person that makes that kind of claim has bad epistemology. I would just say that, like,
okay. You're not tracking what I said. So it need not be the case that the state of affairs is accessible to them, but given the prior facts that they know about logical modality or classical logic, they can justifiably make a claim that, or they can justifiably make an absolute logical modality claim. So they can justifiably say that
wait,
X is
so do you
absolutely
think,
logically possible.
can I ask you a question? So, do you think the reason why they are justified, like the claim they're making, they're justified in that claim is because, like, the claim is based on logical modality being like world tracking and like epistemic modality being mind tracking or something?
I'd say the reason why they're justified in making the claim is because of the reason that they've analyzed this statement, and to them, just in general, the statement doesn't present or generate any logical contradiction. Like the form of the statement doesn't generate any logical contradiction.
What?
So that's why they'd say.
Okay,
That's why they'd
so
say that they
wait,
can
hold
justifiably
on.
make the claim.
What the form of the statement, like, given all its possible relations or whatever, not generating any contradictions. Firstly, that's the thing.
I just need to look. I need to get some clarity on what you're saying. So obviously we're going to have different notions on what we take a possible relation to be, like, because obviously under your semantics, there is a possible relation between a proposition and its reference, such that the proposition can generate a contradiction in one world and not generate a
contradiction. So by
contradiction.
possible relation, I just mean like all possible entailments of the reference and, you know, their conjunction relation, right? Obviously, because like a contradiction is a PNLP. I'm just saying that, well, I mean, the claim would just be the original claim, the principal claim would just be that, you know, we don't have knowledge of all the entailments, and the fucking, when we make these logical possibility claims and when we say, you know, some logical possibilities claim is true, I don't think we're saying that it's true that all the possible entailments don't lead to contradiction, or no, we have a good reason to believe that they don't lead to a contradiction.
Problem with that is that
I go over your claims now.
Yeah, the problem. Yeah, okay.
Wait, brother. Okay, you can give your claim later. You said two things. I have to go over them. So just to make sure I got it right before I go over them. The first claim was the reason it's justified or whatever is shit. What was it? The analysis they do of this statement, given their knowledge.
I said the reason it's justified is because the form of the statement does not generate any contradiction.
Okay, yeah, that was the second thing that you said. No, to that I was gonna say that, okay, the form of the statement not generating any contradiction. Now, if the form of the statement includes all the possible contradictions, or sorry, all the possible entailments, then that's the thing in question, right? And what's the name? If it just means, okay, all the known ways.
So the form of the statement does. Okay. So if you disagree with the claim that the form of the statement doesn't generate any contradiction, then that means that you read the statement that the form of the statement does generate contradiction. Like what?
What?
I'm confused.
Okay, I'm saying that we don't know, bro. Okay, I'm saying that, like, okay, if the form of the statement entailed all the possible entailments, or sorry, it includes all the possible entailments, then we don't know if it does
that's the
or
only
does.
way. That's the only way we determine when we speak about logical modality, what we're saying is that given the form of the statement does not present any contradiction, then the statement is logical, or the proposition is logical.
Okay, sure. No, I really don't know why that was like relevant to speak about. But okay, I'm saying that, okay, if the form includes all the possible entailments, then I'm saying we won't know in classical logical possibility claim whether the form of a statement, what's the name, it generates a contradiction or not. So when you say if it doesn't generate a contradiction,
Wait.
okay, bro.
Again,
Yeah, hold on. Wait, hold on. I'm not done with the argument. That was just the claim. Okay, the argument for it.
Repellent. I just need Repellent. I just need
some clarity.
I just need some clarification. Okay, so
okay, bro.
Let's say that we have a statement. Let's say that we have a statement written in the form of P and not Q, and P and not Q simply just represents a statement.
I'm saying with
my
classical...
dog. Wait. My dog exists, and my cat does not exist, right? According to you, there's a possible world in which that statement does generate a contradiction. But again, if the statement is not in the form of P and not P, and it cannot generate a
oh my goodness gracious me. Okay, dude. I'm saying, given classical logical claims, my entire thesis is literally that, okay, dogs either exist or cats don't exist. I don't think that we can ever like justifiably assign that to the variables P or not Q, because okay, if by P or not Q we're saying all the possible entailments don't entail a P and not P, then I'm saying that value with classical claims can just never be attached.
Wait. So we can
I'm
never.
saying
Okay,
that
so under
given
your
my
view,
thesis,
under your view, we can never actually assign propositional variables, or we can never actually know the form of the proposition. Like what? Like so
okay,
you do
wait. I'm
you do
saying,
understand? Okay, you do
hold on,
understand that. Wait, you do understand what the form of the proposition means? Like you literally just rejecting that we can know propositions in their form.
No. Okay. Hold on. I'm saying that if the form or if these variables, their truth value and relations, all that, if under the opposing thesis, what's entailed is all the possible entailments, then we won't know anything. That is why my entire view is that if we make these claims, we're indexing it to our knowledge. So yeah, under my view, I still agree that with all of these like propositions and like these formal values, what we do is okay, when we assign them to classical claims, we know whether it's going to generate a contradiction or not, but only index to our knowledge, because when we talk about the form, under my view, we're indexing the form to our knowledge. I'm saying that, okay, under your view, I just wouldn't grant that we ever know that, what's the name, the form doesn't generate or does generate a contradiction.
Well, okay, so according to you, every time we make a claim about the form of the proposition, it's indexed to what we know. Okay? If that's the case, anytime we make a claim about the form of proposition, it's indexed to what we know. Then I'm just unclear what you mean by form here. Like what when you say
what
I'm
I mean
referring
by
to the form of
form,
proposition, what do you mean?
yeah, okay, what I mean by form here is probably like the relations and entailments of the reference and like all the semantic
That's not
structures.
informative.
Bro, I wasn't even done. Okay, so right, I was saying that like, but what I mean by form is like all of these like semantic structures of a proposition that we know about or we are aware about. So an example would be, okay, I say cats either exist or dogs don't exist or whatever, right? Now the entailments that we know about are, okay, what we think a dog is, what we think a cat is, what we think it means to exist, what we think conjunction relation means. So all of these things give knowledge are what we're talking about with form, but obviously a dog, some entailment of a dog could entail a cat not existing independent of our knowledge, right? Because obviously we don't have all the relevant facts. We're still discovering that.
Okay, so would just be an accurate representation of your definition. So you say that when we make claims about the form of proposition, I'll just read it out. When we make claims about the form of the proposition, we're making claims indexed to our knowledge about the reference to what the proposition refers to in reality.
Sure.
What did you say?
Yeah, I said sure.
Yeah. So that's not informative. That doesn't tell me anything. Like,
okay,
I'm confused.
Okay, what are you trying to form? Okay, what are you trying to get informed about? Because okay, I thought the
Well,
main
what I'm trying to get informed about is what I'm trying to
okay.
get informed about. What I'm trying to get informed about is just that what when we make claims about the form of the proposition and when we're trying to analyze the form of the proposition, what do we mean here? Now, what you said doesn't really tell me anything, because what you said simply just seems to me to say that when we make claims about the form of the proposition, we can never actually truly know the form of the proposition.
No, that's not
It's
what
not
I'm saying.
informative.
Okay, so that's not what it should speak to you, right? Okay, so if you're just trying to understand my view of the form, I'm saying, okay, when we talk about the form of the proposition, just take all the, okay, what do you include in the form? You include, okay, the semantic structures, like the reference, relation, the entailments that the reference come up with, right? Like these are the three things you talk about with form, like under your thesis of form.
I mean, I don't think that you necessarily need to talk about the entailment of the form when speaking about
Okay,
form.
so let's say that what's the name? I say if a dog doesn't exist or if no dog exists, then like no leg of a dog would exist. That obviously talks about the entailment that a dog would come with, the leg of a dog or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
I'm saying I'm not. I'm yeah. I'm not disagreeing with that, but what I'm saying is that it's not. I'm saying that it's not a universal thing. So it might be the case
It's
that
not a
there
universal
is some.
thing.
It might be the case
Oh,
that
just freak
there is.
out.
Oh my god! Yeah, I said it might be the case that there is some proposition in which you can speak about the form of the proposition meaningfully and not talk about any entailments of the form of the proposition.
Meaningfully, okay. And to be clear, what does it mean? Like me, what does meaningfully mean there?
It actually meaningfully there. It just means that it actually refers to something in reality. Or it
Okay,
actually
and to
has
be
a proper
yeah,
reference.
that's fine with that. Wait, hold on. Okay, wait. So the only way that's relevant is if like you say that okay, if you talk about it meaningfully, or like you could speak about a proposition without considering its entailments, and given your thesis of form, you would still you would have good etymology and be justified in it being true, even if there is some entailment out there that exists independent of your knowledge.
That's just
That
not
like
what.
makes
Like what? I'm
so what?
confused because what I'm saying, okay, what I'm saying is that you can speak about the form of the proposition without speaking about the entailments of the form of the proposition.
Yeah, no, okay. I understand that is directly not what you're saying. I'm saying that the only way what you're saying here is relevant is if you entail that from your statement, right? Because if you don't entail that from your statement, then I could just say, oh, sure, we could meaningfully speak about it in the sense that, okay, the proposition would contain a referent, but if even given meaningful thought, like we're never gonna actually know its truth value, or
You don't
whether it's
understand what I'm saying. I'm
possible or
saying that
whatever, then it
I'm
doesn't
saying that
matter.
it might be the. I'm saying that it's the case, or it might be the case that the form of the proposition actually has entailment. But what I'm saying is that just because the form of the proposition has entailment, it doesn't mean that for us to actually understand the proposition or speak about the proposition, we must understand all the entailments that it makes.
What does understanding the proposition here mean? Like, are
So
you understanding it that
understanding the proposition simply just means to gain knowledge of what the reference in the proposition means,
I,
or what
actually
like the words in the
okay,
proposition.
hold on. I'll just ask you this, right? Forget that question. Okay, I'll just ask you this. If you understand the proposition, do you think you'd be able to determine a truth value for the proposition that is accurate to all its possible entailments? Hello?
Yo,
Okay,
Mercury, drop down, Mercury.
okay, bro. Wait, yo, Mercury.
Did you not? What's going
Bro, none of them
Bro,
are here, bro.
first time go. And to be clear, this is the last time I debate this guy. His debates are like extremely boring. They like move at a snail's pace. It's really bad.
Oh, man. Why did you insult
Well, he
Rizzhan
just
like
needs
that?
some clarity on what you're saying, bro.
Oh,
Yeah,
Repellent,
bro.
help me, please. Repellent, help.
Nah, bro, it's over. Bro, okay, speed. Okay, Aston, just block the guy. I don't know what you're struggling with.
No. Because he has like 1,000 alls.
Bro, and like, what wreck did soccer review, bro? Like,
I don't
what
know. He didn't tell me.
fucking moved me down? Yo, Mercury.
With Repellent.
Yo, what's up? Wait, who
Just
asked
for a
that?
second.
Oh, Archie.
So
Yo, what's up?
yeah. So in chat, there seemingly was a confusion I had with this guy who debated Senta. Are you aware of who Exilic is?
Oh,
Right. So
Uh-huh.
basically, we had an interesting discussion about propositions yesterday, to which I was under the impression, seemingly that these two sentences in chat were different, right? Obviously, one being a
Wait,
conjunction,
hello, yeah, I'm back.
and simply. Oh, sorry. I'll ask you later. Go to Rizzhan.
okay. All
Okay,
right.
so
Yeah,
what were you
Riz.
saying before? I'll
Yeah, what I was saying, I'm pretty sure was, yeah, like uh, the question that I asked you was, is understanding the proposition in the way you mean it, does that mean, or is that any kind of like implicative evidence or whatever for you being able to determine its truth value such that it's accurate to like all of its entailments?
what you mean by the question. What do you mean by such that it's accurate to all entailments?
Okay, so just like, okay, are you going to be able to tell that it's true or false, accurate to all of its possible entailments just because you understand like the proposition in the way you said it?
Well, yeah.
Okay, I proved that.
Prove that we'd be able to determine the truth value or like the truth value of the statement simply just by knowing what the proposition means.
Wait, okay, I don't know if you heard this, but the truth value of the statement is it's including all the possible entailments that might be like outside of your knowledge. So I'm saying that, okay, let's say P and not P, or okay, you have a proposition X and Y. Now, Y actually means not X, but you don't know that. You understand X is X, and you understand Y is Y because when Y isn't like it isn't obvious that Y means not X. It's some like
But
deep
that
rooted
just doesn't
entailment that you
mean
won't.
anything to me. Like obviously like anybody can grant that you can have two variables, and everybody can grant that you can have two variables, and like you may not know what the variables mean or stand for. Anybody can grant that.
No. I'm saying wait. To be clear, I'm saying that okay, you can gain a coherent understanding of Y, without actually understanding that Y ends up being not X, right? So I'm saying that okay, given that
That's just the
analogy,
restatement
when
of the
you look
negation
at
of the proposition. That's just the
what,
restatement. Because to me, if you have a full understanding of what Y is or what Y represents, then that would entail that you also know that Y is not X. Because for example,
okay,
if
so wait,
wait, one second.
bro.
For example, if X is defined as I am a is a proposition I am a dog, or X is just equals the proposition I am a dog, and then Y, and then you gain a full understanding of Y, and Y actually turns out to mean I am not a dog, or the proposition that I am a dog is false. Then obviously, if you gain the full understanding of what Y represents, then you'd also just gain the understanding that Y is not X.
Okay, sure. So that is the thing. Okay, so if bro, when you said understanding, I thought you just meant like okay, something that like a face value we might consider to be coherent. But if by understanding what you mean is like we would like have all the relevant facts and entailments in our mind or whatever, or like we would have access to all the possible fucking properties and entailments, then I would just question whether we know that about any proposition.
Wait, okay, so look, so y'all just basically telling me, look, I'm basically telling you that you're making it seems like you're making a conflation here, right? So how y'all saying is that the only way we can gain knowledge of the universal statement is if we have knowledge of all the individual particulars, and we
No,
know
I'm
that.
saying that is well, okay. Knowledge of universal statement, like the universal categorization of it, just does not matter. I'm saying the only way, under your current construal of understanding, the only way we understand any proposition is if we know all the relevant facts and entailments. So, I mean, if that's
Because that's
like
just entailed
perfectly
from knowing the definite clear. That's entailed from knowing what the proposition actually means, or like the
okay, sure,
definition.
sure. If that's
Wait,
what
wait,
you
wait, wait,
mean
wait, wait,
by
wait, 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 one sec. That's just entailed from knowing what the proposition means, or the definitions of the terms used in the proposition, right? So, for example, if I make the proposition that I am a dog, and then
I
I
would.
am, just wait, one sec, and then I am refers to me, and dog refers to, I don't know,
Okay,
a bipedal canine, and no, not a
so
bipedal canine, a quadrupedal canine, then you'd obviously not given the definition that you are a dog or not.
okay, I would just disagree that like the definitions that we colloquially use would capture all the possible
That
entailments. It
doesn't
would
matter.
literally be just wait, just hold on, bro. I'll put the relevance in the second, right? Okay, so the reason why it's relevant is okay if it is not accurate and if it literally just speaks to our knowledge about it. Then, when we gain an understanding of the proposition through the definitions, then under my view, like I'm not saying it's true, but I'm saying that under my view, all we're doing is we're like just gaining an understanding of a proposition indexed to our knowledge. So not through all the possible facts that could be tied to the reference or whatever. It's just the facts that are tied to the reference that we are aware of So, like, I just don't grant that, like, you could do this understanding action that you're talking about by just, like, appealing to the definition, or, sorry, just, like, getting the understanding through the definition.
But
I don't think that, like,
you're
fulfills
not
this, right?
understanding. Okay, you're not understanding, right? Obviously, you might say that the like how we determine propositions is true. It might not be because of the actual definition of the proposition, the colloquial definition. But the whole point is that if you have terms in a proposition and the terms mean different things in like the same proposition, that it's not the same proposition because there's some relevant fact about the proposition that's changed. So, for example, let's say
Okay.
that wait, one sec. Let's say that I have a proposition again. I say that the proposition is I am a dog, and obviously I am refers to me, and then dog refers to red. That would simply just mean that if I am red, then the proposition would be true. If I'm not red, then the proposition
Sure,
is false.
sure.
Now, what
I would disagree that.
what I'm saying is that if you're saying here that the knowledge of of the definition might not actually be accurate to what the definition is in reality, but then that just means the two propositions are different.
Okay,
It doesn't
so
matter to me.
Okay, we'll go over the analogy in a second, but I would just reject the condition that, like, if the definition is inaccurate, or yeah, maybe not even inaccurate, because, like, what I'm
I
suggesting
don't
here could
believe
also be
that. Look,
flipped. Brother,
I don't
hold
believe
on,
the
I did not
definitions.
cut you off.
I don't think that we can speak the definitions in that way, unless.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
You could talk. Okay, you could completely flesh that out. We'll go over
yeah. I
that
don't. Yes, I don't
afterwards,
believe that we
right?
can speak the definitions in that way
Okay,
because there are
I
many.
understand that, Rizzhan. Are you autistic,
I'm,
brother?
yeah, I'm
Bro.
saying that I'm going to explain. I'm saying I'm going to explain this. So
But
what I'm
okay,
basically
I don't
saying.
want you to explain. I want to finish because I didn't even
Yeah.
start.
Okay. You can finish. Okay. My bad. My bad. You can finish.
All right, bro. Because I'm letting you finish this time around, right? Like, I won't cut you off. Okay. So, and to be clear, if you think I'm misunderstood about something, or like you didn't hear what I said, you can cut me off. That's fine. But okay. So shit. What was it? Yeah. I think what could happen here. This is what it was. This is what was important, right? Is that the definition leaves out a relevant aspect that changes the truth value of the proposition meaningfully, that isn't necessarily incompatible with the definition. So it's like, let's say the definition, I have like a proposition that all dogs are black or whatever, and then my understanding of dogs just includes just fucking entities that are black that we would also call dogs, right? Now, that could, like, end up, or my understanding of dog could end up, or just like actual what dog is could end up just having some white dog or whatever. That's fine, but that wouldn't change the definition. That wouldn't, like, be incompatible with the definition. It would still meaningfully change the truth value of the sentence, though.
Okay. Let me just. I don't believe that we can speak of definitions in this way. Now, the reason why I don't think we can speak of definitions in this way is that you can have the same linguistic term. So, for example, again, dog, and you can say that dog has X definition, but dog would only have X definition in the context or in the way that you are using dog. So, for example, if I say that in one context dog means black cat, and in another context dog means a black hippo, then obviously you'd have different definitions of what the word dog actually means in reality. Now, what I'm saying is that this would mean that the propositions itself are
Yeah,
different.
and
Because
wait,
wait, one
I
sec. One sec. Because if a proposition has different reference in reality, or the proposition refers to different things, the proposition would also be different. And to also
okay.
respond to
So,
one sec. One sec. To also respond to what you said about, okay, it might be the case that when we speak of a proposition, and like we when we speak of a proposition, we're not actually getting an accurate report of what the
okay,
definition
see,
actually
just
is.
speak
Right?
on that later. Just cover that point later. Wait, we should just go point by point. It's like,
What do you mean we should go point by point? Like what the hell? Like
okay,
I don't think we've been doing this through the whole of this. I don't know why we do this now.
bro.
Again, like one sec. Again, you're saying that the definition of the terms and proposition used might not report accurately to what the definition actually is in reality, right? So let's say we have the word cat, and in reality, cat means a black hippo, Right. To me, if he's saying that, to me, obviously, a person is going to interpret a proposition in which somebody says cat, a cat is not a black hippo. Obviously, if a cat refers to a black hippo in reality, to them it's going to come off to them as false. But the whole point is that propositions are different when they refer to different things, and so there is no fixed definition of the word dog. There is no fixed definition of the word cat. Unless it's made explicit.
You actually can't be real. You took this entire time to go over the other point, and the thing you used to go over it was the first thing you said. Like, okay, bro, the thing that I was gonna go over was literally just me rejecting the condition that, yeah, if what's the name? Like, the definition of a proposition is changed, then that would mean that like it's a different proposition or whatever, right? So like there was no need to like flesh this other thing out, but it doesn't matter. So okay, yeah, I just reject the fact that like it would mean that the proposition refers to different things. I think what it would mean is that like the intent regarding the proposition and the actual conceptual content of the proposition are in discordance. So like it would just mean that like the intent mistake like doesn't map onto the actual conceptual content of the proposition. So I think given my I'll just give you my analysis, right? So it's just when we talk about a proposition, there's two things. There's the intent that the agent is trying to conceptual content or whatever, right? Now, I think that like usually when we talk, the intent maps on. That's why some like if the person is justified, then the intent maps on. But if the person is unjustified, or if they think that they're justified when they're actually or whatever, I think that would literally just mean intent doesn't map on, which would mean that later on, the definition changing doesn't actually mean the reference change. It just means that the intent doesn't map onto the actual conceptual content.
Yeah, you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, okay, so let me just get understand what you're saying. So you're saying that if it's the case that we change the words of the definitions used in a proposition, that the proposition can still be the same proposition.
Wait, say that again?
Okay, are you saying that if we change what the terms in the definitions mean in a proposition, then it can still be identical to its former self?
Yeah, if you change what we think they mean, yeah, because I think when when you just repeat the process that we use the definition to understand the proposition, I think we're using what we think they mean to understand the proposition. I don't think we're actually referencing, or we can reference the actual conceptual content, because I mean, yeah, according to my view, that's the literal thing that we can't access fully.
That doesn't matter. That view is still false. That view is still false, because if you're saying something like, in fact, let me just get an understanding of what you think a proposition is. So, what do you think a proposition is, and for a proposition to actually be identical to another proposition, what things need to be true of that proposition are also true of the other proposition?
I guess just like everything that's true of the conceptual content of X needs to be true of Y. So yeah, I mean, I guess like the reference, like in their actuality, conceptually need to be the same. The relation needs to be the same. Entailments need to be the same. Whatever. Like yeah, all that shit.
I don't think that. Okay, I already told you that I do not think that words actually have fixed reference in reality. I think that words again. I think that words are simply linguistic terms that we use to represent. Wait. 1 sec.
Okay. Did he? What? Fuck.
I don't know who keeps kicking me from the VC. Like I don't know who.
It's Shinra, bro. Shinra and Infinity are playing rock paper scissors whether
I think
they're
that
kicking
words.
you or not.
I think that words is simply linguistic terms that we use to represent different conceptual content, but that's not the same thing as you saying that a word does have it does have a fixed actual conceptual content that it has in reality. So I think that, like for example, obviously somebody might take it that one means, like I don't know what somebody might take one means, but let's just say one means X, and then obviously it can be the case that one can. Oh, he left. Oh my God. Okay, obviously it can be the case that one means X in this context or in this physical world, but another context in which one is used, it means something completely different.
Rizzhan, I got timed out, bro. I didn't hear anything you said.
Yeah, okay, I'll just condense what I'm saying. So I'm saying that obviously I grant that words can be used to represent different conceptual content, but there is no such thing as a word having an actual conceptual, like a word having a fixed objective conceptual content in reality. That's
okay, sure. So, like, yeah, when I said actually, what I was gonna say was I don't even think I'd have to disagree with, like, they don't have any fixed conceptual content. I would just like add levels to what we consider actual conceptual content and the intended like fucking meaning or whatever, right? Okay, so obviously the actual conceptual content would literally just be the way the guy would construe like the way an agent would construe the concept of a term if they had like all the possible relevant knowledge about it, right? So like just take the usual fucking, what was it, ideally rational agent stuff. So if you just stipulate an agent like that, and you just say, okay, they are given the meaning of they hold to a specific meaning of the term, I think that is the conceptual content or actual conceptual content of a term, right? So if just anyone holds a definition that might leave out a part or like not include a part that is included in the actual definition, or maybe it's just inconsistent straight up with the actual definition or
I just
whatever,
told you I don't
then I
believe
would
there are
say,
actual definitions. Like what?
okay, yeah, but I'm using the word actual lightly, right? Like by actual definition, I literally just mean a definition that the ideally rational agent holds, right? So if it's
Wait. Can we just go back a bit? I just want to get some more clarification on like the ideally rational agent piece. Like, is there an ideally rational agent somebody who knows all facts? Or...
Okay, all facts, like the least amount of stipulated bias. Uh, yeah, there, or maybe even possibly no.
I don't grant that. Look, maybe in some impossible world this is true, but I don't grant that.
What do you know?
I don't grant that anybody can know all facts.
Under what modality?
Under a logical one, since I take logical method and like physical modality.
So you. Okay, let's just wait.
Like,
You said
I don't know
metaphysical.
why I would grant that somebody. I don't know why I would grant that like somebody can know all facts. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I was just saying.
Wait, 1 sec. Let me just get an understanding of what you're saying. So, would all facts? Okay, because under your view, you obviously deny accessibility, and so if somebody knows all facts, like including all possible facts as well, that would seem to me that they also know facts which contradict themselves. Like if we're not restricting, if we're not restricting, wait, 1 sec. If we're not restricting, wait, 1 sec. If we're not restricting the facts they know to the actual world, if we're restricting facts they know to all possible worlds, then it just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, so there's like what's the name? Two things, right? The first thing is if you just take it that, like, I don't know, an ideally rational agent would like they would be able to make a claim about like accessibility, or they would be able to make claims accurate to accessibility. Yeah, I'm fine with that. My whole reason for denying accessibility with folk language is that,
But
okay,
that's not what I said.
given okay, so are you not saying, okay,
no,
I'll just go with
I said that given the fact that you deny, given the fact that you deny accessibility, it's unclear what you mean when you say that somebody knows all facts.
Okay, yeah.
Is this restricted to the is this like what perspective? Wait, 1 sec. Wait, sorry, I'm interrupting you, but like I just need to get like clarification. So, obviously, it matters. Number one, what perspective of worlds they know all facts from, and number two, are we limiting it? Are we limiting it to the?
Facts, bro.
Wait, are we limiting it to the world that they're in? Or are we limiting it? Or are we like not restricting?
You could literally say either. So let's just say that, like, not limit it, right? Like, what's his name? Like, yeah, all the possible facts given all possible states of affairs or whatever. So an ideally agent. Now, obviously, like, I don't know, given the current understanding you have of humans, you might not think it's possible or whatever, but obviously given evolution or whatever, I'm not saying it's likely, like it could be like 0% likely or whatever, but like I don't see any contradiction with an agent with abilities like that, like obtaining, right? So, and also an agent like that
that's fine,
could make claims. Wait, bro, I was not done. Okay, And I was saying that obviously an agent like that could make claims accurate to accessibility, but that's not inconsistent with my argument. Yeah, you could go ahead.
Yeah, I never said again. To respond to the first thing you said, the whole point of me asking this is to get motivation for that, right? Like you said that, like, given facts about evolution, it might be the case that the probability might be zero, like it still might be possible. Again, that's what I'm asking motivation
Well,
for.
no, I'm
And like you
saying
just saying that, wait, you just saying that it seems like not to present like any immediate contradiction doesn't really satisfy what I'm asking you for. And like
okay.
secondly, to
So
respond,
yeah,
secondly, to respond to like you saying that I said that they couldn't make like accurate facts about access, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if it's the case that accessibility is false, we're not restricting their knowledge, and that would mean that they would know facts that would contradict each other. Because did
sure,
like
that's
for
fine.
like they did have contradictory knowledge. So and if you just take knowledge to be like
I
true
don't.
beliefs, wait, one sec. If you take knowledge to be true beliefs, then that would simply just mean that like a P and not P generated. So there is like a
Okay,
contradiction. But wait, I
so
just want to get this one thing out.
bro.
And like an example, wait, just like I know you want to speak, bro. I know
Okay,
who's
this is
speaking.
like the
So
third
an
point.
example of this could just be that if accessibility is false, then it is the case, or it's possible the case for there to be a possible world in which, like, it's possible that a dog exists, in another world in which that it's not possible that a dog exists. And if we're not restricting like the scope of modality, that would mean that a being who knows all facts would know that it's possible for like a dog to exist, and it's not possible for a dog to exist, which is obviously infinitely not true.
Are you done? Is he gone?
He's muted. Respond.
Like, oh damn. Okay, I was like typing, but all right. Yeah. Okay. So 3 points, right? The first point is okay. So we both agree that prima facie face value. We look at it. There's no immediate P not P. I think that is like all else equal, just like good enough consideration. I'll just say the same thing, and we can go over whether that's good consideration in a second. The other point, okay, yeah, I don't grant that they could, with knowledge of all the possible worlds or all the possible facts or whatever, hold to contradictory facts. Because when I say accessibility is false, I'm not saying that okay, like a claim could be possible and impossible, in like a all things considered sense, right? I'm saying that when we make claims classically logically, we don't know if it extends to all the possible worlds. So it might just so if it's something that we consider to be possible that ends up not being possible, then it's not true that okay, it's also a fact that it's possible and it's also a fact that it's impossible. It's just true that okay, it's something that is impossible that we thought to be possible, right? But if you mean something else, which is just okay, yeah, they would know contradictory facts if they knew all the possible facts, then I just would ask the motivation for that. Like I don't know if that's entailed from my view. I don't know if there's like some background consideration that entails it. Yeah, and that's the only points that I want to go over. Like anything else, it's
Yeah,
like fucking.
yeah. So look, it seems that either like you didn't have an actual understanding of what accessibility is, or like you backtracked on your claim. So what you described isn't what accessibility is; it's just a skepticism about modal claim. So accessibility claims that accessibility claims that modal status is not constant across all possible worlds. So they make the claim that it could be the case, or it is the case, that in one possible world we have a proposition that in reality is possible, and in another possible world we have a proposition that in reality is impossible. Now, what I'm specifically saying here is just that if you deny accessibility, which that's just how accessibility is defined, you can't define accessibility another way, unless like you think that you have a better like understanding of modal logic
Okay,
than these modal logicians. But and if you deny accessibility, then that would mean that a being who knows all facts, and those facts aren't restricted to like all possible, those facts that don't have any restrictions on them, would simply just be saying that a being knows that it's possible for a dog to exist, and a being also knows that it's not possible for a dog to exist. Even if you claim
okay,
that even if you claim that these facts are true in different possible worlds, they still
that's not
know.
what I'm
Given
claiming.
the
That
fact,
was just not the claim. That was just not the
one
claim. That
sec,
was just not the claim.
wait one sec. Given the fact, I don't know why you keep interrupting me, but given the fact that
Mhm.
we're not restricting the scope of possible worlds, then that would what would be entailed.
Okay, brother. The claim, when I say that like
Rizzhan,
it ends up being impossible or whatever, the claim isn't that it's true in some world and not true in some other world. That's not the claim, right? The claim is that it's
You're not denying accessibility, so you can see you're not denying.
yeah, I could what? Okay, anyways, right? I'll explain why like even under the understanding you gave of accessibility right now, okay, is not anything that changed. I mean, it's still something I deny, and I'll explain why I don't deny. Oh, sorry, why the thing that I was saying still denies it. So, okay, if accessibility is just taken to be, I'm pretty sure what you said was like the modal state remains constant throughout worlds. So if something is possible in one world, then it's like possible in every other world or whatever. Is that accurate?
Yeah,
Before
that's
I'll get
fine.
okay, sure. So if that is what is taken, like it's taken to be, then I was saying, okay, under my view, if we index possibility to like only the fucking facts that we're aware of, then we won't be able to say if something is possible in one world or like then it's possible in every other world. But under the view that we index possibility to all the possible facts, we just won't know ever anything is possible. If you remember, that's why I asked you, like, okay, if you take that view, like, why would we ever like know that for any proposition, right? So I'm saying that, okay, given my view, that is a denial of accessibility, and given your view, that is a denial of like us ever knowing anything to be possible.
Repellent, you're not tracking. So the claim that we're making here is a counterfactual claim, or a claim that invokes an if then statement. So what we're trying to claim here is that if it's the case that X is possible in one world, if X is
Brother,
if
okay,
wait one sec, wait one sec. You're
This is
not
the last
just let me just let me finish.
The reason I cut you off is because I think you're misunderstanding me.
Wait. You're not, but you don't even know what I'm gonna say. So,
I think I have a.
I don't think
Is
no,
the
I don't
reason
really think you do.
Yeah, okay, wait, hold on. Is the reason you think I'm not tracking because, like, oh, me skepticizing whether we know anything is going to be possible, like me skepticizing the truth of the antecedent, that doesn't actually deny the truth of the conditional statement, right? Like, that's why you're clarifying that
Yeah,
you were
that's
just.
what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah. So you're misunderstanding, right? I'm saying that, okay, under your semantic, I'm not denying accessibility. I'm saying under your semantic, I'm denying that we wouldn't ever know something to be possible. I'm saying that under my semantic, because like the not knowing anything to be possible is the case for your thing, we would accept that is the motivation to accept my semantic, and under my semantic, I would deny accessibility. So when I question us ever knowing possibility, that isn't me denying accessibility. That's just okay, me getting this through, and through that, me building probability or
But us knowing,
motivation.
repellent. Us knowing whether accessibility is true does not have relevance to the claim. Because again, what I'm claiming is just that if it's the case in reality, then like if it's the case in reality that we have a statement or proposition that is possible, then that statement or proposition is possible in all worlds. Whether we have knowledge, on whether the statement is possible or not is not relevant, because that's not
Wait,
relevant to the counterfactual
brother,
claim I'm making.
what do you think I said? What? Okay, before I just spoke, what do you think I said?
Okay, what you said is that under my semantic, you're denying accessibility, and under your semantic, you're denying accessibility, and you're also saying that we can't ever gain knowledge of what possibilities are. Like,
Okay,
if something's
do you
possible or not.
understand the like? I'm not using. Okay, I'm not directly deny. Okay, I'm not directly using the denial of us ever knowing possibility as a direct motivation for us to deny accessibility. I'm saying that okay, we both agree that my account of like language and like classical modal usage or whatever, we both understand that if it was to be true, then accessibility would be false. I'm just using the denial of possibility being found out or known about under your view as a motivation for us to adopt my semantic. The thing that denies accessibility is still just my semantic. That is the direct thing. I'm not saying the
Wait, let me just ask you a question real quick. So are you saying? Okay, well, let me just understand what you're saying. So you're saying that, given the fact that if we're talking about the proposition being possible in context or in index to all possible worlds, then we can never actually know if the proposition is possible.
wait, say that again?
Are you saying that given the fact that we know that the proposition is possible, or no, given the fact that we're affirming the proposition is possible, and we're talking about all like possible worlds, do you think that like we can never know if the proposition is actually possible?
under your view of
No, I'm talking about under
possible
yours.
usage. Yeah, under my view, yeah, we can, but my view is basically indexing possibility to like only the facts that we know of, right? So not
No,
all
I'm saying
possible
that if
facts.
there were a case, wait, no, you know what I'm saying. And that if there were a case where somebody were to make a claim in index to all possible worlds, and they're not restricting the scope of possible worlds, do you think that they could ever make a true claim?
I mean, that wouldn't be under my okay, they wouldn't be able to, but then the point is like that wouldn't be them going under my semantic though.
So you're saying that wait, let me just understand what you're saying. So you're saying it's impossible for somebody to make a possibility claim index to all possible worlds.
Index to a possible world or all
Yeah.
possible worlds?
All possible.
No. Oh yeah. I mean, under my semantic, it would analytically be impossible. Yeah, that's fine. If someone like makes a claim like that, then they're just not going under my semantic.
It's also okay. Then, in context to you as well, it's also just impossible for you to actually make a claim. It's impossible for you to actually make a claim about whether the propositions you're claiming to be possible are possible, right? So if you were to say something like, it's possible that accessibility is not true, you wouldn't actually have knowledge of that claim if you're talking about all possible worlds.
Well, I mean, I would just say that, like, okay, if I index it to all possible worlds, then sure, I wouldn't be able to make the claim. But under my theory, if I okay, I
we
was
can
not
agree on
done.
this, and accessibility can still be true, like in all
I do
possible
not.
worlds.
Okay, I did not hear what you said, but I really wasn't done. So just like say that after I'm done, right? Okay. So, and again, I will cut you off when I think you're misunderstanding me. If you think I'm misunderstanding you, you could cut me off. That's fine. But if you just want to put a point in, don't do that, right? Like, because if I want to put a point in, I'm not gonna cut you off, right? Like, I haven't been doing that. So, okay, given that shit, I'm saying that, okay, given my view, if someone just like okay, let's just take my claim, right? Yeah, like it's possible that accessibility doesn't hold or whatever. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't know that index to all the possible worlds. That's why I'm open to, like, accessibility being true to, like, an ideally rational agent, because I also think that is also possible, right? So I'm open to my possibility claims not being accessible through all possible worlds. Like, that's trivial. Like, that's me denying accessibility. That's fine.
I'm not
But
talking
wait,
about.
bro, I was still not done.
I'm not this guy, bro. Like
All right.
I'm saying that that's not relevant. I'm saying that somebody could agree with you on this and still make a claim that accessibility is true. Like,
Why?
because if you're simply just making a claim that anytime we make universal possibility claims, so anytime we're not restricting the scope of modality, every time we make a claim about the possibility of proposition index to us not restricting like the scope of modality, then we can never actually know the proposition is true. A person who agrees to accessibility and affirms accessibility can agree to this, but what they typically just say is just that it might be the case that
I
given
think
our
I know what
knowledge,
you're saying.
wait,
Can I give
wait,
you?
one sec. It might just be the case that given our knowledge, like we can never gain knowledge of whether this thing is possible in context to all possible worlds.
Okay,
But
Rizzhan.
accessibility can still be true in reality.
Okay. So is your claim just that, like someone could just not go under my semantic hold to accessibility? Accessibility could possibly be true, and then like my semantic wouldn't matter. Is that the claim?
No, that's not clear. That's not the claim I'm making. The claim I'm making is that they can grant that we don't have knowledge of whether the claim is possible in all possible worlds, but you can still it can still be the case that in reality accessibility is true. Like we're going under your semantic as well.
Okay, sure. So the claim is that, like, okay, right now epistemically, the agent would hold credence, or wouldn't have any like credence to believe that accessibility holds, but accessibility might just like hold independent of their doxastic state towards it, right? That's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, is that the claim? Okay, yeah. I don't. Yeah, I never disagreed with that, right? Yeah, but like, I think what will be relevant here or in the debate wouldn't be the claim that's made is like, oh, whether it's actually true. I think what will be relevant is whether we have justification for it being true. So if all that is fell back on is just, oh, it could possibly true, even if you have no justification for it and justification against it, then like I would just say that like possibly true in reality doesn't matter, because like it could also not be possibly true under reality. Like that's fine, because like my whole claim isn't that like it doesn't work. My claim is just that I'm not convinced, or in the debate there hasn't been any evidence for it working. Oh my god, this guy deafened. All right, is the debate over? I don't get, because he said his work here was done. Yo, Mercury. Oh. Mercury, man. Is he not? Am I the one who's... Bro. Wait, I'm audible to the VC, right? Right. And shit.
We can hear you.
Alright, bet. Bro, unironically, I think he did better in like the first rec. It's like he had like book arguments to fall back on. Alright, I'm just gonna say rec.